You better remember, recognize, and understand that, baby. When you talk to me, you talking to a nigga that take care of 2 households. Your nigga is being taken care of by you. We're not fucking same. I don't talk to no 50-50 and I don't talk to no nigga that's being taken care of by. I got bitch I take care of.
Okay, so if you haven't guessed, this video is about men that provide for their girlfriend, their wives, their fiance, their family, essentially, and how they talk in a way that's very prideful about that fact. Now, I really wanted to start this video off with Storm Monroe because I watch him. I'm normally silently watching some of the content on celebrities, and I remember men would say negative things about Storm. They probably still are. And I never really understood why until I heard him say this on a recent video. And there really is this kind of divide between men that enjoy providing for their families. They see pride in that. And the men that proactively go after men that actually say that this is a good thing that men should do, is provide for the women in their lives and their children, and they actively target and attack men that are saying this. Now, I don't know if that's why the men were going after Storm. A lot of men, at least online, don't really support or want to say anything positively about Storm. Even though he seems to kind of stay to himself, he's not really out there looking for drama. He's in the midst of drama, but it doesn't seem like it is really because of him. It just kind of finds him because of the people that he is around and people that he's trying to help. But he's very successful on YouTube, and it's either the success on YouTube or the fact that he actually seems to support and like to help women and speak up for women. And as he's saying here, at least, he also provides for women. And I've heard him say that men should be doing that. And anytime men say this, other men that don't feel the same way tend to target them.
I think that men that are frustrated that women want guys that are providers are feminine. That's it. It doesn't make you more masculine to be like, I shouldn't have to pay for her nails. I shouldn't have to pay for my girl's dinner. That doesn't make you more masculine. That makes you a bitch. Are you a man or you a bitch? I don't know.
Okay, so Russell Hartley is very popular on TikTok, and he has made so many videos basically promoting that women only date men that are providing for them and making their life better, and also pushing men to actually step into their provider like energy and actually come to women with, instead of, hey, what are you going to do for me? Hey, how can I make your life better? And so he also gets a ton of terrible comments from different men who don't agree with him. So instead of the men just not agreeing with him, they will proactively go after women that are following him, other men that are following him or agreeing with him, and then of course will target Russell Hartley as well.
Men are supposed to work. If he's not working for you, you don't have a man, you have a slug. A lot of women do this crap of stepping in and becoming the man when they're with a man who lacks balls. Oh, I really like him. Let me put in all the work. Let me text him first a million times. Let me pay for stuff. Let me plan the dates. Baby, you've become the man. Is he the queen or are you? Stop it. When you start chasing and putting in overtime to work for a man, he starts behaving like a princess and not a good one. You don't convince a man to put in work for you. You dust them. You toss them in the trash. You don't go, I really like him. I'm going to put in overtime and convince him to like me. Gross. You're in your Prince Charming energy. And stop taking it personally when these guys don't want to put in the work for you. They're lazy. They would have been on the bottom tier of the tribe. You don't want them to begin with. We have a zero tolerance for low effort and laziness. Get out of that poverty mindset immediately. Stop thinking, oh, it's only this guy or it's no guy. There's billions of men in the world. There is a man who will put the work in for you.
So that was Christian Walker. He's very popular on TikTok and Instagram, and for some reason he really enrages men that are not of the same mindset where they believe women should be treated well and provided for and all these great things. And I featured him on a recent video, and some of the comments that stood out were proposing that he shouldn't be talking about any straight relationships because he's in the alphabet community. And to me, that makes no sense because, relationships, people talk about all types of relationships and give relationship advice all the time. The dynamics don't really change based on your sexual orientation, right? And so it just seems like an easy comment that people can make. They can't really insult him. He's a really nice looking guy. He speaks well. He's very popular and likable. So I guess they just tend to focus on that. But for my view, that doesn't matter. You still see the same dynamics regardless of what the relationship is, where one person is typically providing in a multitude of ways and another person is providing in different ways, and you complement each other, which is typically, you kind of see the masculine, feminine energy one way or the other, whether it's a straight relationship or not, right? Also, considering the dating coach dynamics, where there's dating coaches out here that have never been married, or they failed in marriage multiple times, or they have not had any successful relationship be successful online, it's really interesting to hear these type of comments where they're questioning the advice coming from someone. When do we start questioning people giving dating advice? Because the track record that we have is pretty lackluster.
Okay, boom. So I got an amazing girlfriend, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all some things that I do as a boyfriend to deserve a woman like this. One, and probably the biggest one, I do everything in my power to put her and keep her in her feminine energy. Part of that is provision, okay? When she with me, she don't pay for nothing. She don't gotta pay for shit. It's to the fact that she don't even bring her wallet sometimes. If my girl hit me up today and tell me she don't want to work no more, that's completely fine. I have no problem providing for both of us. Now, a lot of y'all average men gonna look at that and call it tricking, but really it's not. Honestly, it got nothing to do with money. As a man, it's my job to do everything in my power to make her life easier. If her not having to work 40 hours a week, give her a better peace of mind. If her not having to stress about how she gonna pay for this or how she gonna pay for that, relieve stress on her, then I'll gladly carry that load. I'd rather stress be on me anyways. The other side of that is protection, okay? I do not play when it comes to my girl. I will happily crash out when it comes to her safety. I also surround her with people that will step for her simply off the love that they got for me. For whatever reason I couldn't get to her, I could call a homeboy right now that'll go where she need to go and make sure she get where she need to get, untouched. Respect and priority is another two-part. She is the number one woman in my life. Okay? Not my mama, not my sister, not my grandma. She holds that spot. If she tell me she not comfortable or she don't like me doing something, I'm not doing it. No questions asked. She can go through my phone whenever she wants. She got my location 24/7 shit. Even if I'm finna go somewhere, I'll go and let her know. Make sure she cool with it before I even step out the house. That's another one. It's probably the biggest one. I provide a completely safe space for her to be emotional. She can come and talk to me about anything. Any problem that she got, whether I think it's big or small, I never invalidate how she feeling. And this is so important because even though she know I'll solve any problem that she got, sometimes when a woman is upset or she's venting to you, she just needs you to listen. She don't need you to answer it. She don't need you to come up with a solution. Just sit.
Okay, I know I'm stopping the video. Y'all want to hear him talk, not me. But I just have to say that, one, I stumbled across this guy. I did not know him before, but I was really impressed by him speaking, not just about, how he provides for his girlfriend, but this idea of having the space for a woman to just talk and vent. And I really appreciate men that are problem solvers, but I do feel like a lot of men don't really understand that sometimes women are telling you things and we're coming to a man just to have him listen. And for me, I really haven't gotten to that point where many men really get that. And so I go to, girlfriend and talk to her and she'll listen because, she gets it. But a man that actually understands that, especially, this guy, he looks fairly young. I've dated men that are like in their 40s and 50s and they don't understand that concept of, hey, I'm telling you this not for you to go and try to give me 15 million solutions that you deem would help it, but to listen and kind of figuring that out, or even allowing the space to say, hey, do you want me to solve this problem for you, or are you just venting, right? And so I think for women, a man may be able to learn this, but you do have to tell them when you're not looking for those solutions, especially if they're a problem solver, because I really appreciate that attribute in men. But for a man to actually be able to realize it instead of you telling them that, hey, I just need to vent about this, is pretty impressive to me. I don't know, are there others in the comment, men or women, that understand this or really appreciate it as well? Let me know.
This is one that I just learned. She also has a safe space to be emotional without having to worry about my emotions getting evoked. So whenever she's upset, even if we arguing and it's her fault, she to blame, she has a space to be emotional. She got the space to cry. She got the space to be mad. I'll stay solid. I'll be composed. I'll hold it down, because if both of us is upset, it has to be a leader. Somebody has to lead us out of this bad place, and that's me. That's my job.
Okay, I'm interrupting again, but this guy, listen, whoever has this guy, if he is really being honest, because I have to be real, it's the internet, but if there's a man that really feels like this and they're doing these things, girl, you might have a good one, because just how he speaks is so mature. And this is why a lot of men don't understand with this conversation of 50-50 and being a provider, et cetera. It really comes down to a lot of these traits that you'll notice certain men have and others just don't. Maybe because they're not evolved to that point yet. No one has taught them. It's not a part of their culture, whatever it may be. But men like this, when men are going around saying they're the prize, I don't think he would ever say, hey, I'm a prize, but this would be a prize in my eyes, for a man that's going to say that. But a part of that is that he would never say that because he deems women, his woman, as quote unquote the prize. If you ever want to get into that, I'm the prize, he's the prize, she's the prize, whatever conversation, that seems to be pretty silly. But when it comes to a valuable person, is what I see as quote unquote a prize. He seems like a valuable person, a valuable man, because of not just the fact that, he can provide for his woman when it comes down to, money and making her life easier, but also he's making her life easier and really uplifting the relationship in a lot of ways, which in turn is helping her to also pour into the relationship. So there's this balancing act, right? So when it comes to the relationship, I think a lot of people are just caught up on the money, but it's not just about the money. These traits that men have, even before we had quote unquote money that we have today, men showed these certain traits of caring and protecting and providing for their woman and the children that they would have, right? And then I'm sure there were men that didn't have those traits.
And I don't want y'all to get that confused with enabling, okay? But right or wrong, in public, I'm gonna have her back. And when we get back to the house, I'll correct her behavior in private. And we only 8 months in, but one thing I make sure to stay consistent on is I continue to date her. Yes, planning dates is big. I do that. We go on trips. That's cool and all. But it's the little things as well. I'll stop by Publix on my way home and get her some flowers. You know what I'm saying? I'll randomly go and pay for her nail appointment or her lash appointment before she even get there, so she ain't gotta worry about the shit. I'm the thirstiest nigga ever when it come to my girl, bro. Like, you gonna see me under every like, every comment. Physical touch is big for her. So anytime that I have the opportunity to put my hands on her, best believe they own her. I do everything I can to consistently make her believe that I think she is the most finest, the baddest, the most gorgeous woman on this motherfucking planet, because she is. But for me personally, one of the biggest responsibilities that I think I have is putting in the effort to understand her. This is where grace and patience comes into play, okay? Because everybody's flawed. Everybody has red flags. My perfect girlfriend, who's perfect, is still flawed. So I put time in and trying to understand why she is the way she is and what things may trigger her or what things bother her. Even when we into it, it's not me versus her, it's us versus the problem. And as a man, if I have to put my feelings on hold or my emotions on hold to give her that reassurance and make sure she's straight, I'll do that. So that's just a couple things that I do, but I don't want y'all to look at my situation, my relationship, and compare it to what you got going on, bro. A trying man is a good man, okay? If you can't afford to pay all the bills, that's okay. As long as you got goals and aspirations, you.
So I overall liked what he had to say. I think this seems like a good man if he is being honest, because we know it's the internet. I can imagine he probably has a lot of interest online based on what he said. However, I do want to note that I really liked that he said, you know, his girl isn't perfect. Obviously, he isn't going to be perfect. And that's the thing about relationships. You should both be helping each other to get better. I even liked what he said about correcting his girl. Like, I think that's a big part of partnership too, is being able to say when your partner is wrong, not to embarrass them, but to help them realistically. So I really liked a lot of what he said, even the last bit about, you know, some men aren't there yet with being able to provide for a woman. And honestly, I think if a man can't help a woman in any way, why are you approaching a woman? Like, you're approaching women so that you can make their lives worse. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So this was a longer commentary piece, but I thought it was a good one to add in here because it did seem pretty realistic to understanding, you know, men that maybe you can't afford to pay for everything for your woman, but if you have that type of mindset, you're likely going to try to make something in her life better, and you're aspiring to do even more for her and also you, make yourself better, and vice versa. Your partner should be, if they're a good person, right? If they're the person for you, they will likely be working on themselves and bringing things into the relationship that also makes your life easier. But it's all about balance, right? If you wanted a partner that's going to do the same things that you're going to do for yourself, then why are you looking for a partner? My idea with these relationships is that a lot of it is to complement each other, bring balance, and ultimately have a partner that is going to better you in some way. You're going to help better them in different ways, and you'll be on this journey of life together. That's kind of the point. Like, who wants to be on a journey and you're just suffering together and making each other's lives miserable? All right, so up next are some videos I saw trending. One is this dynamic of USA born men versus Russian born men, talking about 50-50 relationships and what they bring to their partner. And you'll be interested to hear that Russian men think a lot differently than USA born men, which I'm sure you could have guessed.
America versus Russia, asking men if they would provide for their woman.
Well, it just depends, you know. Number one, why would I? But what is she doing while I'm working? You know, it's kind of like each relationship now is a 50-50.
Okay, so the Russian man says, for those that don't speak Russian like me, if it's my wife, then yes, because ultimately I'm responsible for her.
Nah, she has to provide for herself. She's an adult.
If it's a wife, it's about family and children. Ideally, she should dedicate 100% of her time to raising them. I have to add, this is a handsome Russian guy.
Well, I mean, I would want it to be 50-50. That's the current situation I have. Right?
Basically, if she doesn't feel like working, if she doesn't feel like self-actualizing and she's comfortable being provided for, then why not? I can afford it. And she's comfortable being provided for, then why not? I can afford it. Translation from Russian man number 3.
I would. I would probably inspire her to work just so I can see that there is some motive going in her future.
And some Russian guy says, I'm happy with mine. I live with my girlfriend and I provide for her. She has to carry out other things and a man always provides for her, says the last Russian guy. I also have to note that there were different ages of men when we flip-flopped from USA men and Russian men. And I have to admit, the Russian men here, at least in this clip, I don't know if they only picked out, the most handsome of the bunch, but the men were pretty handsome. And they trended, to be a mix of young and old. When I've seen these conversations come up, at least with people that are in the United States, a lot of times the question of, well, what generation is a man from comes up, because there's always this comment of, well, older generations had a different thinking about providing for women. And you see here from this clip, at least in this sample, very small sample, the men are from different ages and generations. And then you see in the Russian culture, different generations of men, younger and older, and they're all saying similar things. And so really, I think most people do, if you're familiar with Russian culture, at least from my understanding, yes, the men are pretty traditional and the women are as well. And that's the standard. Correct me if I'm wrong if you're from that culture, but that's been my view. And so here in the United States, we have kind of this mix of everything, right? So, you're going to get a lot of men that are saying today, because they can, that they don't want to provide for women, and that is due to the culture. So I do have to say that I've come across men that were born and raised in the United States that do have those type of traditional values where they see the man's role in a romantic relationship as being someone that is bringing some type of provision to the relationship, depending on where they are and what they can do. Obviously, for men that literally cannot do it because they're just not at that level yet, maybe they're straight out of college or whatever it may be, sure, you probably can't provide for a woman and children right now, but also don't create a woman and children. Then you should just be preparing for yourself and getting yourself to that point where you can do that if that's something that you aspire to do. Versus what I see, and let me know if you're seeing this as well, men that want all of these things but don't want to build themselves up to the point where they can have them. They just want it right now, instantly, like obviously this microwave generation that we're in. And so that's where the issues come up, is that, okay, men want these things, but they're not really prepared for it. That's my view. I could be completely wrong. That's just what I see. Let me know what you think in the comments. I do have a couple more clips that I just saw trending that I wanted to add, so check them out. Let me know what you think about this. Please be kind and respectful. There's no need to call people names just because someone has a different viewpoint than you, but I am eager to hear your feedback in a very kind manner. Talk to y'all later.
Would you be okay with us going 50-50?
Of course, no problem.
Okay, so we can split the bills, we can split
50-50 and everything.
Yeah.
50-50, you give me 50% your property, 50% your salary, 50% all you own, no problem. And the bill, no problem, I pay 100%.
That's not the way that it works, because
this is 50-50 what you told me.
Yeah, but I meant like for the rent, like, I meant for groceries.
What rent? You need to buy me an apartment.
Well, yeah, we could discuss about that, but then what about what I'm bringing to the table?
What do you bring to the table?
I will protect you.
I don't need protection. I'm a Russian.
I can provide for you.
Provide, okay, 50% all you have, it's mine.
I meant more so like, I can make you laugh. So.
Yeah, you do with things you say 50-50, you make me laugh.
That's what's wrong with this generation today. These young boys today, what do she bring to the table? The hell you mean, man? What do your ass bring to the table? You got a woman that can come to the table that can make another you.
And wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.